Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 12 of the Showbound podcast presented by Axel Watches. I'm your host, Michael Raskin, and once again joined by Ethan Cardwell. Cardsy, what's going on, man?
Tjena, tjena. That means hello in Swedish. So I'm learning some new language, but yeah, just hanging out here at the house tonight. Not much game day tomorrow when the Epi drops on Wednesday. So bed early tonight and looking forward to that.
Yeah, you've been buzzing over there in Sweden, 7 points in 3 games, just so the listeners can know. And you actually had a hat trick and a 5 point game in your last one. So, can you just talk about that game, like, scoring the goal and like it was your first goal and, how that went down that whole game?
Yeah, we talked about it earlier last week in the episode, and I mentioned a little bit of struggles trying to get used to the big rank and the style of play and whatnot. So it took a little bit of adjustments, but started to find my stride last game playing with my roommate here, Blake Murray, as we referenced before. But so we've kind of found some chem last game, both connected for 5 points, got in on each other's all of our goals. So that was pretty nice. And then JT also had 1-1 too. So it was a good game for the boys. The house was in a good mood after that one, and just looking forward to getting some more games under our belt. I just hopefully our team can keep up the success as we're starting to win some games, which is really good.
What was the deal where like JT had 1-1 and was sleeping on the floor in the closet? What was up with that?
Yeah, so as soon as we got in here, we got a nice apartment the team hooked us up with and stuff. But there's this closet, and it has a bunch of dust in it and stuff. And he kept calling it grease closet from the time we got in here. So he's like, if I go 1-1 tonight, so goal and an assist, I'll sleep in grease closet. So obviously joking around, but he got 1-1. So we made him sit in the grease closet and shut him in there for a few minutes, and he just reminisced a little bit in there about the game.
I mean, it's weird that you say that because when I heard that, I was like, 1-1's not a bad night at all, like especially as a defenseman. So it's weird that he's almost being punished for that. But I guess when the boys are putting up 5 points each and he's only getting two, maybe that makes sense. But other than that, actually, like before we talk about more life in Sweden, I got to mention our guest this week. We got Brandt Clarke coming on, a teammate of yours on the Barrie Colts. And he's a top prospect for the upcoming NHL draft. I've even heard his name being thrown around at first overall, but I think Bob McKenzie had him at second. He led all rookie defensemen in scoring in the OHL last year, and he's playing pro in Slovakia right now while we're waiting for the OHL season to start. So it was a great interview and a great chat with him. A lot of really funny stories, and I'm really excited for this one to drop and get the listeners to hear it.
Yeah, bro. Clarkie's a young stud. Everyone's gonna kind of see him come to light here in the next few years, and he'll be an NHL player for sure, no doubt in my mind. But yeah, he's a character, man, and just the way he talks, like it's something about him. It just makes me laugh. Like he's jokes, so like I feel like the listeners are really gonna enjoy it. Like it's just some of the stuff he says. You're like, you just start cracking up or have a nice smile or grin, and it's the same in the locker room. He's a fun guy, so it makes it a lot of fun to be around him, and he's definitely well spoken as well. So we'll hear a good interview from him here shortly.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun and good to catch up with him. But what else is going on with you in Sweden? You doing any touring yet off the ice? We talked about it last week, how you maybe were looking to start moving around outside the apartment there.
Yeah, bro. We went into the city. Our assistant captain Yakin, Forrest Lind, I'm pretty sure. I might be butchering it, and I know he's listening because he always talks about the pod. He's super excited. We're 6 hours ahead here, so he said make sure you have it out by 7 o'clock in the morning when I wake up here, so I can listen. And I was talking to him today, so I know he's listening. So a little shout out to Yeek in there. But yeah, he took us downtown Vesteros, and I got to tour the city a little bit. Went to a restaurant, very nice place. Tried some food. So it's been good being able to get into the city here and there, but we got a busy schedule this week, so not too much on the go. Maybe have the boys over one night just to hang out, maybe catch a later the tail end of a NHL game or the start, sorry. Just with the time change, it's tough to watch that. So we'll see if we can find a night to do that or whatnot.
Yeah, and before I forget, and before we move on to some NHL news, I have to mention Tyler Sagan gave you a little shout out on his Instagram and your roommates there. So it was pretty weird for me to see that. I know you guys have the same agent, but what was that like? I mean, were you surprised at all there?
Sorta, not really. Maybe yeah, a little bit to get the bump on the Insta account for sure. He's like one of the most well-known players in the NHL. I know people love him, and there's no reason not to. He's a great guy, and I've been fortunate enough to golf with him, hang out with him, have dinner after and such. So he's a really good guy, super nice to me and the other boys. So it was pretty cool. I know he was watching. We knew he was watching the game because our agent had texted us and said like, "Hey, me and Sags are watching the game. Unfortunately, he's injured this year, so he's not going to be starting the year with the Dallas Stars. So he's at home hanging out." But yeah, no, it's cool to know he's watching. And another star who actually watches our games is Nick Lidstrom, longtime Detroit Red Wings captain. And funny enough, two of his sons play on our team, Samuel and Kevin. So it's pretty cool to know he's kind of watching the games too. And it's super nice to meet those kids who grew up in Detroit, and they're kind of like translators for us in a sense. To kind of, when the coach relays the message in Swedish, they kind of break it down in English for us.
I didn't know that. That's really cool. Obviously a legend, and maybe we get Sagan on the pod. I don't know, use those connections, and we can pull him on here.
Yeah, man, we'll see. He's got a lot of downtime right now, so I'm sure he's doing a bunch of rehab and stuff trying to get ready. But potentially, who knows, pull some strings, and that would be a huge one.
It would be. And let's get into some NHL news. First week of the NHL season is done. At least I was watching all the games. I know you were sleeping during all the games, but it was definitely exciting. And the NHL celebrated Willie O'Ree this week. He made his NHL debut on January 18th, 1958. So everyone was wearing the helmet stickers, little pregame announcements on the Jumbotron, and some social media shout outs. So that was really cool. And obviously definitely well-deserved. And McDavid and Draisaitl are already off to a tear. I don't know if you've seen them, but I mean, McDavid had the hat trick the one game there, and they're kind of getting in on each other's points, and they could be 1-2 in scoring this year. What do you think about that already? Like, not surprisingly, off to a hot start.
Yeah, well, I don't think their team's very good, to be honest. I've just been watching the highlights. I mean, McDavid kind of had a slow game one, but obviously bounced back. As everyone expects him to, and put up points. Obviously, those guys are two stars in the game, took over the league kind of last year. Draisaitl hopping in on the action and really becoming a huge name in the sport. And really for Germany, it's another huge step in the right direction for a guy like Leon Draisaitl. And then you see a guy like Tim Stützle getting his first goal this week, and another German star on the rise. So I think it's real good for those two guys. They're going to have a breakout year, and then yeah, like we talked about Germany, they're on their way up, and a country to really watch in the next few years, producing young stars.
And you know what? I mean, I don't want to get sidetracked, but Germany, the DEL, the German Pro League there is one of the top leagues in all of Europe. And it's they have incredible fans, crazy fans, honestly, massive rinks, extremely high level hockey. So I wouldn't be surprised to keep seeing Germany produce these stars when they're growing up watching crazy high level hockey with, some of the best fans ever over there. So it is really good for Germany, and those two are going to be ambassadors of the sport over there. So it's pretty good to see. And then the Leafs off to a good start. I know I'm a Leafs fan personally, and it's good to see them get a couple wins early here and hopefully start to lead the division. Tavares is off to a good start with the points. Matthews only has the one goal so far, but I mean, everyone kind of expects him to get a goal a game. It's actually pretty crazy. Like, you know what I mean? It just won't happen. And he's getting in on the assist this year. So, I mean, he's producing whether he's getting the goals or not.
Yeah, for sure. I know I used to hate the Leafs growing up, actually. It was more like, so my grandpa played for Pittsburgh, Pittsburgh fans in the house and everything. So growing up, it was kind of more like a clash thing. I just wanted to clash with all the Leafs fans in my area. So like people would be like, I like the Leafs. No, I hate the Leafs. But as I've gotten older, I've learned that it's really good for the city and for the surrounding area and the GTA. When the Leafs are doing well, everyone's having fun. So as I've gotten older, I've really learned to appreciate when the Leafs are going on a run or when they have a good team. It's cool to see in your hometown, kind of nearby, and just see the way the fans rally around it. So I think the Leafs and the way the playoffs are set up this year could allow them to have their best chance at a cup run in a very long time, and just ultimately give these guys a real good crack at it that they might not get if everything was normal, no COVID, and hopefully get Jumbo his first cup.
Yeah, definitely. And I think we'll send it over to Brandt Clarke now. But before we do, I just want to say that support for the Showbound podcast is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below the waist grooming. Manscaped offers precision engineered tools for your family jewels. And big news, Manscaped just launched in Canada. For those listeners in Canada, you can be one of the first Canadians to experience their life-changing products. Manscaped has redesigned the electric trimmer, and the Manscaped engineering team perfected the greatest ball hair trimmer ever created and have their new and improved Lawnmower 3.0. Their third-generation trimmer features a cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents, and when I tell you this is premium, I mean premium. The battery will last up to 90 minutes so you can take a longer shave. The waterproof technology allows you to groom in the shower, and one of the coolest features, which Cardsy loves the most, is the LED light, which illuminates grooming areas for a closer and more precise trimming. They've also upgraded to a 7,000 RPM motor with quiet stroke technology. And let's not forget about the charging stand. Show your mower off loud and proud because this intelligently designed stand is a convenient charging dock powered by USB. If you're listening to me speak right now, I want you to experience it firsthand for yourself. Trim that junk of yours. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code SHOWBOUND at manscaped.com. Your balls will thank you. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code SHOWBOUND at manscaped.com. It's time to shave those balls, eh?
And yeah, I'll tell you, man, like I get a lot of texts and people saying like, should I get the Manscaped and stuff like that? Is it really worth all the hype? And I'm fully legit. This product is legit and I love it. And I think everyone should go use that promo code and definitely help trim your junk.
Exactly. And I guess with that, we'll send it over to Brandt Clarke now.
All right, and joining us today is Brandt Clarke, my teammate in Barrie. Welcome to the pod, Brandt. How are you doing?
What's up, boys? Rask Cards. Thanks for having me.
Clarke, it's good to see you, man. I mean, even if it's from this weird angle from under your chin, which I don't necessarily love, but how are you, man? You're in Slovakia now, like we talked about earlier, and what's going on? What's life over there like, and how's it going for you?
Yeah, I've been here for probably 3 weeks now. It's definitely different. If you told me 2 months ago that I'd be here playing for Nov Zamki, Slovakia, I didn't even know what that was a month ago. So if you told me I was doing that, I wouldn't have believed you. But yeah, these weird times. Me and Cards both over here in Europe now. We're getting in games before so NHL teams can see us, and yeah, it's definitely unusual, but we're making it work.
What's the level of play like over there? Is it like maybe compared to the OHL?
Yeah, it's definitely probably better than the OHL just because it's pro hockey. The guys are bigger, the guys are smarter, bigger ice. It's like easier to play defense almost for the other team because they kind of like hold you to the outside more. Yeah, it's definitely hard to knock guys off the puck. You have these like 6'6" Slovakian beasts in the corner. Like you're not usually coming out of the corner with that puck. But yeah, it's definitely took me a couple games to adapt. But now that I'm kind of got my legs under me and I feel in mid-season form, I feel pretty good.
Is it like we talked about it with Ty Dellandrea last week and Cardsy, even over in their leagues, it's very defensive. They mentioned the 5-man trap and stuff. Does that kind of thing go on over there in Slovakia too?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, it's definitely more of a defensive game. Gotta they sit 5 guys back. You got to dump it in every time. There's a lot of less like controlled entries with the puck because you have to chip and chase every time or else you'll get run over at the blue line. So yeah, it's definitely more of a defensive game. You really got to earn your goals. Our team's definitely not a goal scoring team. We got to get out of that slump. We only have 8 goals in our last 7 games. So like it's been tough to produce over here, but we're just trying to make the best of it.
And like last Slovakia question for now, and then I know we got a good amount of fan questions about it later, I think. But in your first game or two, you got like a massive penalty, I think, for cross checking or head checking or something. What went down over there? And I know you must have been pretty rattled about it because it wasn't your fault. I watched the video, but can you just explain what went down?
Yeah, I knew that was gonna come up. Yeah, so it was kind of like a 2-on-2. The guy was like kind of standing still at the middle of the ice, and I almost felt like I needed to make a first impression. I thought it was like a young guy. It was like, well, relatively speaking, he was still older than me, but one of the younger guys on their team. So I thought I could hit him pretty well. He was kind of standing still, so I came over, and he kind of had his head down, so he was like falling while I came over, and he like fell into my arms, and while I was hitting him, so it was like a really weird scenario. But he went down with like a bloody nose or something. So yeah, I got kicked out, but in like the middle of the third period, like one of the officials, like off ice officials or something, came up to our media guy and was like, "Yeah, don't worry, no suspension. Like, we're really sorry. Like, our bad. So, like, shouldn't have been a penalty. It should have been a 2-minute charging. Like, it was just a bang bang play, and he was bleeding, so we had to kick him out." And I was like,
Yeah.
I was kind of like, well, good thing I'm not suspended, but he just took me out for 2/3 of the game, so I'm not too pumped about that. But what you gonna do?
Yeah, you got like 25 pims there or something. Like
25-minute penalty. Yeah, it's 5-minute major and like a 20 game instead of a 10 minutes, like a 20-minute game misconduct.
You're a goon, dude. You've changed since you went over there. I don't know.
Clarkey, not too many penalty minutes in Barrie from what I saw anyway. But I mean, he runs his mouth a lot, but he doesn't back it up with the toughness out there. That's for sure. So we might see a different side.
I got my cage on over here too, so I can't even drop the mitts if they wanted to.
Oh, you have a cage on?
Yeah, until I'm 18 next month, I still have to wear my cage.
Oh, that's tough because double IHF, you're not 18, I guess.
Yeah, it's kind of annoying, but kind of used to it again now.
Yeah, that's tough. So speaking of your cage, it kind of leads us into our next thing. We're going to take her back to minor midget when you're on an absolute wagon of a Don Mills Flyers team. I think you lost one game maybe all year.
Yeah, we lost one game in the Silver Stick final.
Yeah, so you didn't get all of them, but no, sick team. A lot of people refer to you guys as the greatest minor midget team of all time. So can you kind of just talk about that year and just like tell us how cool it was to be a part of that and then to top it off with an OHL Cup championship?
Yeah, so we just had a good group of guys. Like I came over in minor bantam, didn't really know what I was getting into. Guys like Shane and Hoffman joined the same year I did. I didn't even know who either of those guys were. So I just kind of came over because my brother was already in Toronto, and we just wanted to kind of come over, better hockey, more teams. And there is no minor midget in Ottawa; it goes straight to U18. So yeah, we kind of just wanted to come over for those kind of reasons because we wanted to play in the OHL. So yeah, when minor midget came around, we didn't really know what to expect. We won the OHFs the year before, so we knew we were going to be a good team. But yeah, everything kind of just went well off the start. We won the Titans tournament, won the Wendy Duffin tournament. Felt like we were going really well. Yeah, we had that one loss in Silver Stick, but I think just the camaraderie we had on the team and like everyone was like best friends on the team. Like there was never any bickering. There was never any like talking behind the back, like like that guy's annoying or anything like that. You know it is in the locker room, but yeah, nothing like that on the team. We kind of all got along and we were all in good moods, and I think that's what helped us every game. Like nobody was like battling with each other. It was just all for one goal, and yeah, it kind of propelled us. We got to the OHL Cup. We had a tough game in the OHL Cup final. Actually, we were down 4-1. I was scared that was going to be on national TV and we were about to blow it, but no, we pulled through. We had 4 top 10 picks. That definitely helped us. But like I said, being on that team and being with those guys who are like all positive all the time, that definitely helped. That definitely helped our draft stock too, because you just felt so comfortable out there. You just trusted the guy next to you, and made everything flow so easily.
I just want to jump in here, and one of the fan questions we had, which I just want to bring up now, was I believe it said, yeah. So what was it like playing in the OHL Cup final? You already talked about it as a Sportsnet game. I imagine that had to be your first Sportsnet game, right?
Yeah. Well, actually, I played in the Canada Winter Games, which was on TSN. But yeah, my first Sportsnet game, technically. So, and yeah, it was pretty intense. We went down 4-1, like I said. But yeah, we kind of just got together in the dressing room in the start of the third period. Kind of just we knew we were gonna pull through. We never really had any doubts. Like we could see people in the crowd; they were nervous. People told us after the game like they thought we were gonna blow it, but we knew we had each other's backs. They kind of had some lucky bounces that got them goals, but we knew eventually we were gonna persevere. And then yeah, in overtime, me, Othman, and Shane all connected for the OT winner. So that was pretty cool.
A decent connection there.
Humble brag. He's gonna drop the top 4 picks of the OHL draft there, and a little name drop for the boys. But no, I actually like I was curious because I know you had like a ridiculous amount of points in minor midget, so I just looked it up, and on his elite prospects anyway, I know they can miss a few points in minor midget, and I'm sure Clarkey's the first to tell him they missed 100 points, but no, he had 70.
Untuck the jersey after the goal.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe you have to talk to the ref too. 73 games, 35 goals, 78 assists, 113 points as a defenseman.
Oh man.
So that's not too bad. That's not a bad stat line at all. But you didn't lead the team in scoring crazy enough because you obviously played with some unbelievable players there. And Shane Wright was the biggest name of all. So can you kind of
Yeah.
just tell us what it was like to play with Shaner and like how good of friends you guys are now and what that year was like with him?
Yeah, he's a great guy. Like you see him as such like a dominant force on the ice, and he's always focused, and you never see him like joking around. But once you get to know him really well, like he's actually a funny guy. He's good to be around. Like he's one of my good friends. We still talk quite often. But yeah, when he's out on the ice, he's just, as we saw in the OHL this year. Like I didn't know he was going to be that good in the OHL already. Like I knew he was eventually going to dominate, but the fact he had that good of a rookie season with like 40 goals. But yeah, every game, whether we were playing the best team, the second best team in the league, or the worst team in the league, he just brought it. He was just dominant. He wouldn't take anything for granted, and he would capitalize whenever he had the chance. And yeah, he's just a really good, nice guy. He's a competitor. He loves to win, hates to lose. And a couple games when we were like tied in the second period or tied in the third period, like he would just pop two. Like he just hated to lose, and he had that winning mentality. And yeah, he'll go very far in his hockey career for sure.
Are you gonna get him on the pod for us later?
Yeah, I'll get in his ear about that for sure.
Clarke, I want to talk about Barrie, obviously where I met you. Before that, though, you get drafted 4th overall. We kind of talked about your teammates going 3 of the top 4 there. Like, what was your draft day like for you, that experience? And did you go out to Barrie? I must have asked you this before, but did you get to go out to Barrie that day and see the rink and all that?
Yeah, so my draft day started. It was me, Shane, Offman, and my friend Connor Lockhart, who got drafted 3rd overall to Erie. So it was just 3 of my like really close friends I got to spend the day at the OHL office with. It was really fun day for me, really memorable that I got to do with those guys. But yeah, after that, me and my dad drove up to Barrie, met Dale, met Todd, met Howie for the first time, and that's where me and Frasco were there. We kind of just took pictures, did some media, but yeah, overall, it was a pretty fun day.
And I'm just gonna pop in for a second to add, like he just talked about Shane Wright first overall, and then Offman 2nd, Lockhart 3rd, who's his like best friend, and then him 4th, and then McTavish went 5th, and it's also his like other best friend from his hometown. So this guy hangs out with some high caliber hockey players.
I guess that's a good way to put it. Yeah.
Hey, I mean, that's good if all those skills are rubbing off on each other, and good group of guys to get to know. But yeah, I've teased you about this before, and I think I've talked about it on the podcast, but your preseason in the OHL was just something crazy. I can't remember how many points you got, but you lit it up in the preseason. I remember the game in Niagara. I think you got a hat trick. You might have even had like 5 points that game. And I was sitting there like, this guy is going to get 100 points in the OHL this year. This is unbelievable. I didn't know how good your defensive play was, but offensively you were killing it. And like what did you feel like through those first couple preseason games?
Kind of was one of those times where like I was kind of nervous. I was like, what's this gonna be like? All these older guys, and then just stuff just went in. It was just like, wow, is it this easy? No, but then yeah, I had some good players. Like Forey also had like 8 points in the preseason. So yeah, we were just kind of like really hot in the preseason, and yeah, like I said, like I had a couple quality chances and just everything went in. So I felt pretty good about myself at that time. And then I actually had a slow start to the actual OHL season. So I gave myself a little too lofty of expectations almost.
Yeah. And I'm going to jump in because that was our next question. Like you had such a phenomenal year and 38 points, I think you had, but he didn't score till after the trade deadline, after they got me. So I think it was definitely it was probably me coming over, a good luck charm for Clarke.
Yeah, you were the good luck charm. I was about to say that.
Yeah. Then he found the net a few times after that. He got really hot but no, you had a great year overall. What was your first year like? I know I spent the majority of it with you, or the second half, sorry, but unreal points and stuff. So kind of take us through what that year was like for you.
Yeah, it's funny. I was with you, Rask, for the first half of the season, then I was with Cardsy for the second half of the
Hey,
season. So
it's not me. If it wasn't me, I'm not
yeah, yeah, you were the reason I wasn't scoring, man.
Yeah, Rask Seward, you.
No, but yeah, it was fun. We have a good group of guys in Barrie, and the fact that like guys like you, Cards, and Beers all came over at trade deadline. We were a young team, like we all got along pretty well. It was good environment in the dressing room, and we all just wanted to win. We all wanted to show that even though we were young, we could still perform. So yeah, it was like you said, it was a slow start, but once I got my feet under me, once I got those first few couple goals, everything felt easier. So yeah, I definitely look back at my first year in Barrie pretty fondly.
Yeah, and I think a lot to do with our success there at the end of the year. I know we were, like Clarky just said, we were a super young team, and like a lot of people kind of had doubts about us and stuff. And then we went on a really good heater actually in the second half there. And we
Yeah.
started to win some games. And I think it's honestly because our young guys, we had no lack of confidence. I feel like all of us were pretty confident in each other. And like, it was a little bit of like a swagger thing when we were in the rink. We were kind of loving it. Like we were on a heater. Everyone thought was like, oh, these guys are brutal, but we were winning games. And it actually brings me to talk about like some swagger. I'll bring a Clarky story up here for us. And
Oh my gosh.
It's is a game. It might've been overtime. Did you score an overtime goal against Missy?
Against Missy, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So the guys on the other team are chirping him because Clarky's always in everyone's ear. So he steps onto the ice, and I think he said this to Thomas Harley. And let's talk. This is a first round pick of the NHL, and he says, "Well, buddy, I'm gonna go score." And he might have dropped a few words that I can't say on the pod, but he said he was gonna go score that shift. And sure enough, 16-year-old defenseman walks through their whole team and buries the game winner, which was pretty sick to see.
Yeah, I remember that pretty fondly. It was like him, Schwint, and Canady, I think. And I was just barking at all three of them because I think I just pulled Canady off our goalie, and they all just were ripping me. So I went back and I was like, "Boys, I'm scoring this." I was about to swear, but
I'll bleep it if you do.
I was like, "Boys, I'm gonna score this shift. Like, you watch. Like, we're about to go down and score. Like, have a good bus ride home." And little did we know, 25 seconds later, I got Ford's rebound, and I waved at their bench on the way out.
No way. Come on, Clarky.
Yeah,
come on.
It was a pretty cool experience for me.
Oh, man. This guy's 16 in the league, Cardsy. Has no one punched him in the face?
No, I know. That's what a lot of people always ask me because, like, I got a bunch of buddies in the league, and even the boys here, they were like, living with me now, Murr and JT, they were like, yeah, well, Clarky's a little rat out there, man. Like, and then JT, like, obviously, JT a bit now, Clarky, and he was like, yeah, man, like before, like, I thought he was just this little pigeon, but he's a good guy once you get to know him. But I'm sure this guy's hated by a lot of people the way he talks, but he backs it up out there. So
I feel like I am. Yeah, not too many people like me across the league, but as long as the boys on my team like me, that's all that really matters.
Yeah, that's what you want. I mean, you want to be one of those guys that everyone hates to play against, but if you were on any team, everybody would love you. I'll actually say this for the listeners: like, Clarky's one of the best guys I've met so far, especially in Barrie. Like, always smiling, one of the happiest guys, honestly. Like, you never see him down, super friendly. But before I move on, I actually want to bring it back to when we talked about your goal production. If I remember correctly, I think you had 2 disallowed goals before the first one. Is that right?
Yeah, one against Sarnia that went crossbar post out, and like we even like got the puck and everything. Like it was pretty. I thought it went in 2. I didn't really see it until they showed the replay on the board. Like I was like pumped on the bench. We did the train and everything, and that didn't count. And then I saw Clay. I looked over at him after they announced the goal. He had my puck and he just tossed it in the crowd. It was pretty funny. Yeah, then I had another one in Owen Sound that I shot it. I also thought I scored, but Bigsy apparently tipped it. Then I looked at the replay. Yeah, he definitely tipped it. But like again, I was like fired up at the bench, and then again they said I didn't score. So third time was finally a charm against Oshawa.
I remember though. I remember all three of them. That was funny because I was just as fired up as you were. I think I've been wanting it for you for so long, and hearing everyone joke about it at practice and stuff, and then to finally get it, and then it's disallowed, and oh man, but what a season you ended up having. So that was pretty funny. But so now you're heading into your draft year. A lot of noise, honestly, about you being talked even as high as first overall, but you're kind of like same with the OHL draft. You're in that like first to fourth overall range from what I'm hearing. But it's as a player, like, do you follow that stuff? Does it affect you? Like, what do you think when you're hearing your name tossed around like that?
Yeah, I definitely notice it. Like when Bob McKenzie's doing like draft rankings and stuff. Like obviously, I'm gonna take a peek at where those kind of guys have me ranked. But yeah, pretty much you just can't like let it distract you too much. I mean, it's nice to know people like how I've progressed so far and like the kind of game I play. But if I want to stay, or I don't know how to say this, but like if I want to stay positive in their eyes, I guess I just got to keep doing what I'm doing. I can't change my kind of way, and I don't know, like it's cool, but then again, I kind of like to be a humble guy, so I don't like to talk about myself like that too much.
Yeah, and I know me and Clarky were talking before this, just on FaceTime. We were saying how sick it would be if you went to Seattle. It'd be the first overall pick in their franchise ever, really. So I know Clarky said they got like a 1-6 pick, 1-6 overall.
It's
So
in that range, yeah.
yeah, there will be somewhere in their range, and that's right in Clarky's wheelhouse. So everybody
Me
watch
and
out.
Cards both gonna be on them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Cards and
cards in
Clark.
the cards gets the free agent invite.
Yeah, both to the Kraken, and maybe we'll get Rask there too.
Rask media guy, yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah, Rask media guy. But now I guess that does it for like the draft year question and stuff. But another guy who knows all about the draft years is your older brother Graeme, and I know he's with you now, and you guys are both in Slovakia. What kind of influence has he had on your career so far, and just how has he helped you in this draft year, kind of walking you through the steps of it?
Yeah, I don't want to pump his tires too much because he's sitting in the same room as me. But yeah, he's helped me a lot. Even what all the way back to the OHL draft, he was the sixth overall pick, so he kind of had that hype around him going into the OHL draft too. So he helped me out there, like how to handle all that talk when that draft was around. But yeah, going to the NHL draft now, like you said, he's kind of done everything I want to do before I have. So it was definitely harder for him. He kind of had to create his own path, but for me, I kind of just got to follow what he did. He can tell me what he did that helped him out. He can tell me what he did that didn't help him out, and he has been doing that. And the fact he got to come over to Slovakia with me and that we got to actually play together was, even though he has to leave now, was pretty cool for the time being, and something I definitely won't forget.
Cards, you want to get a little brother questions going, or should we wait?
Yeah, you want to take the AirPods off, Clarky, and let your brother hop in for a sec?
Just for sure. Graeme, come over here for a sec. Throw a tarp on. He's just throwing a tarp on. 1 sec. Oh, here he is. All right.
All right.
Sit down, G.
All right.
It's a single bed here, but
Here we go.
What's going on?
So we got Brandt Clarke now joining the pod. Yeah, we got a little questions here for you. Some brother questions for the boys. I guess, well, first of all, which one of you is the favorite son?
I'd say him. I get in a lot more trouble and I leave the dishes out and stuff like that. So I'd say Graeme is, but
first kid.
First kid helps. Middle child get lost in the shuffle.
Yeah. And I know we were talking about how Clarky's becoming a goon over in Slovakia. So when you guys wrestle or fight around the house, who mops up?
I'd also say me. I've kind of, especially now that I'm taller than him too, and I got the reach on him. I'd say I dominate those kind of scuffles that we have, even here in the Slovakian apartment.
I don't know. He's taller. That's all he's got, I think. So we'll let him have that one, I guess.
Yeah, Clark, you're jacked, eh? You got a lot of muscles on you.
I got another one for you guys. So Clarky, we were talking about how you're a motor mouth out there and you're just always yapping people. And I know your brother probably hates you at home for that. But who chirps more and who's got the better digs?
I'd say me. Yeah, I'm kind of the ruthless one when it comes to our conversations. He kind of, especially sometimes if we get mad at our parents, dude, he's kind of the one settling it down. But I definitely give him the digs more than he does me, because I don't know if that's just him being a nice guy or him not being clever enough to come up with good ones.
He's losing more of the time and all the stuff at the house, so you let him dig, but he's losing, so it's okay.
Ooh.
Yeah, fair enough. I got one more, and then I'll let you grab a few here, Rask. But over in Slovakia, I know Clarkie's kind of a child, so I'm assuming that Graeme does most of the stuff around your apartment. Is that true?
He's never cooked anything his entire life.
Craft dinners.
I'm leaving soon, so I'm trying to tell him how to cook some stuff, but it's gonna be bad when I leave. I've been telling him how to just put clothes away in regular drawers. Like, he's still never done that either. He's kind of an infant, but it's been getting better. And we have a couple other Canadian guys who live at the place that said they'll help out too when I leave. But
I might need that. Yeah.
He's just putting the dishes in the dishwasher has been a struggle, but we've been getting there.
I can see that. Like, I can literally believe you when you say he can't put things in drawers. But who's the healthier eater, or who has a sweet tooth or something like that?
Oh, this one's easy.
Me, for sure.
I have the way worse diet than you do. I mean, I try to care about my diet. Like, I try, but I feel like I order out of food a lot. And if I'm driving back from the rink and I see, like, I feel like I was just on the ice for 2 hours and I passed like Wendy's or something, like, it's hard. I have sweet tooth. You're right. Like you said, it's hard to pass up, but Graeme, being here with Graeme has actually helped me with that. Like, he's cooking the chicken, he's cooking the ground beef, so that's helped me. But yeah, definitely when I'm here by myself, the diet might go a little bit worse than how we've been having it.
Okay, I got one more, and then we can let you go, Graeme. But who wins the one-on-ones after practice?
I don't know. Probably who's ever on D, to be honest. I don't know, because
he can't skate backwards.
He's pretty good defensively, but then he can't dangle me though still. So, like, I can't dangle him, but, like, I don't think he could dangle me. So I don't know. Probably just.
I'd say I walk away with that 9 times out of 10, but just because your ability, not
my ability,
your inability to play defense. But
all right.
All right. Yeah. Thanks, Graeme. Appreciate it, man.
No problem. See you later, boys.
See ya.
Throw the AirPods back in.
And yeah, that could be another potential guest getting on Brandt Clarke down the road. Another prominent name in the OHL, a third rounder to the New Jersey Devils. So a great hockey bloodline going on there in the Clarke family. But let's keep it rolling. Rask, what do we got next for him?
Yeah, so I wanted to talk about your off season this past year. And I had heard, I don't know if it's true, I really hope it is, but I had heard you were training with Erik Karlsson, who's your childhood hero. Is that right?
That is right. I was out with, there was a lot of NHL players out there, but guys like Erik Karlsson, Thomas Chabot, Claude Giroux, like, skating with those guys was definitely, like, it was kind of almost a wake up call. Like, you're like, they're telling me, like, I'm nowhere near good enough to be like playing against those guys yet. Like, it's, yeah, to watch those guys, like, we do scrimmages at the end of the practice, and, like, of course they're not going as hard as they possibly can, but just the natural ability they have, like, with so effortlessly, is just something to marvel at. And believe me, I was going as hard as I could just to keep up with these guys because I didn't want to be embarrassed out there. So yeah, it was definitely cool to share the ice with some of those guys.
And yeah, just a comment, like, you know, those aren't just NHL players; those are elite NHL players, like among the top tier. Even Chabot already for being so young, but you know, so a guy like Karlsson, someone you looked up to, someone you play similarly to. Are you in his ear trying to learn everything you can? Like, what kinds of things are you getting out of him, and are you learning?
Honestly, not like I definitely haven't talked to him too much. I don't know if it's a courage thing to not like go and introduce myself, but I kind of just watch him play and just like, yeah, just you kind of pick up things like this, like the ability to like hit passes without looking and stuff like that. Like, just seeing him out there is just pretty wild. But I work out with Claude Giroux, so I talked to him, the captain of the Flyers. I talked to him pretty prominently, and stuff he says, like, he's such a leader. You can tell, like, he doesn't take it easy on me. You can tell he's a good leader. Like, if I'm not touching the cones on our sprints, like, he's screaming at me. And then, yeah, just to see guys like that, like, he's already made $75 million in the NHL, and he's still like, yeah, he's still putting in the work day in and day out, and he's the first one at the gym. And he's always staying long for like bike rides after. So yeah, to see the time and effort those kind of guys put in is pretty remarkable.
Yeah, and that's pretty sick. I mean, anytime you can skate with show guys, I know we do in our group back home. Not as many stars as maybe you do out there in Ottawa. You guys got something in the water out there, but I just wanted to ask a question here. Do you get ripped on about your little tape thing that you use on your stick by these show guys? Because I don't know if anyone in the show uses it, and you're the first guy I've seen to use it. So they rip you at all about that?
No, actually, a couple of them have asked about it, but what I've realized, this is actually funny that you brought this up, because Zdeno Chara has his own company here in Slovakia that is like, it is blade tape almost. Like, it's not called blade tape, but it's like the same thing. And like, me and Graeme earlier today actually had a talk. Like, their guy came to our apartment. He showed us what they use, and guys like Chara, Roman Yossi, and a couple other guys in the NHL actually use this stuff, and it's pretty similar to what me and Graeme use. So I guess some of these guys have seen it before, and maybe that's why I got ripped a little bit less, because if Roman Yossi's using it, I guess that'll prove that they actually know what they're doing with it, instead of just me, some 17-year-old kid, thinking just wheeling around with blade tape and stickers all over my stick. So
yeah, no,
that might be why I didn't get yipped.
Yeah, no, fair enough. But yeah, we got to see it work. I guess you got to put some sticky stuff on, maybe some glue or something to pull off the Michigan next year. I know you tried it a bunch while I was there, but I want to see it perfected by you next year.
Yeah, I'll give it a run. We'll see if it happens or not. No promises.
I'm
maybe
pretty sure
I shouldn't be behind the net anyways.
I'm pretty sure Graeme has pulled it off a few times, right? In games?
Yeah, he's pulled it off twice in the OHL. So yeah, he definitely got all over the highlights for those.
That's pretty sick. I mean, yeah. One more question from me, and then we'll go to the fan questions here. And this one was asked by a ton of fans too, but like, what kinds of things are you working on in the off season, and like, what's a week of training for you like in the summers?
I work out Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. So those are my 4 workout days. I'm on the ice like 4 times too, but it's like scattered. Like, there's no specific days. And yeah, it's usually workout at like 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Be at the gym, and then on the ice around like 12:30. And then kind of have the rest of the day to do whatever I want. Yeah, in the gym and on the ice in particular, I'm kind of just trying to work on speed. I just want to be I feel like I got my skill ability down, so now I'm kind of just working on overall strength and being faster. Like, I don't want to be a step behind. Like, I feel like I'm by no means a slow guy, but I'm not the fastest guy out there either. So that's kind of what I've been putting most of my effort into this long off season.
Yeah, and he's got a lot of work to do if he wants to be as fast as me one day. So I respect the effort.
I don't know if I'll ever catch Cards. He blows by guys pretty quickly, but if I can be like close to him and catch up to him, be around his tail sometimes, it'd be nice.
Yeah, I know, but I will add, like, Clarke, not like you mentioned, he's not the super fastest guy, but when he's skating down the ice, it looks effortless. And then he's just like coasting, and guys like legit, he's just wheeling into the net. Like, it doesn't make sense sometimes. Like, he'll just have a perfect lane and he'll just glide in there. I'm like, how's that happening right now? But it's because he does such good puck protection and skill like that. But it's crazy. But we'll save that for another day. We're going to jump into some fan questions for you, Clarke. There was an overwhelming amount this time. I guess the fans want to get to know you, so let's give them what they want here.
Sounds good.
Let's start with your go-to pregame meal.
Over here they feed us before the game, so like, it's just chicken and rice all the time. Like, that's all they feed us. Pretty much it's the same meal every time. But usually, like, when I'm in Barrie and stuff, I have pasta and chicken. Kind of the most basic hockey player answer, but it's worked for me, so I kind of just stick with that.
Okay, fair enough. Not much selection when it's getting fed to you, but we're gonna stick on that back to the OHL topic. And is there anybody in the OHL that you hate playing against?
Hate playing against. I mean, we didn't do too good against your boys Sudbury this year, and Byfield had quite a few points every time we played them, so that was never a fun one. But also guys like Marco Rossi on Ottawa, like, he's just so dominant. Like, you're not getting the puck off him, and he can make a unbelievable play in the matter of a split second. So yeah, there's definitely a lot of players across the OHL who are very, very talented.
Wait, I want to jump in. Is there anyone you got okay, so Cardsy's got a little rivalry going with a player on Sudbury. I can't even remember his name for some reason, but do you have any little chirping battles? Every game, you're always, you and this guy are going at it?
Yeah, he does with everyone on the ice. Because he doesn't shut up out there. So everybody in the league.
Especially, yeah, that's actually true. A lot of people don't like me because I'm just talking nonstop. But it's actually funny. Macaulay Carson on Sudbury. I don't want to say I have a rivalry with him because he beat the absolute shit out of me in a matter of 1 second. But I had it every kind of game. One time I dodged a hit on him and he went face first, had a bloody nose in the glass, and then another time I got a 5-minute slew footing penalty on him, and then this guy wanted to kill me many times. So it was pretty funny that such a tough guy like that wanted my number.
Yeah, and I know I can confirm that the boys that I'm living with, Murray was telling me a story that Macaulay Carson there, he came off and he was just fuming one time, just wanted to kill Clarky, and it would look bad if an OA went after a 16-year-old, especially such a highly touted prospect and stuff. But I've heard from a lot of sources there's some people that want to beat Clarky's face in, but like we said before, he's an animal now in Slovakia, so I don't think he's got too much to worry about. All right, we'll get the next one going. A lot of the fans are already saying you're going to be a show player, so hoping that comes true down the road. Who are you most excited to play with in the NHL one day?
Play with?
Or against?
Usually my answer would be Erik Karlsson because I kind of looked up to him my whole life, but then I skated with him this summer, so it's kind of cool to already check that off the box. But probably guys if I get to play in the NHL, and that's confirmation or anything, but if I got to play in the NHL, it'd be pretty cool to play against guys like Crosby, obviously, two-time gold medal winner, 3-time Stanley Cup champion, Hart Trophy winner. Something like that would be pretty surreal to look across the ice.
He knows his whole trophy closet.
I know.
That's pretty impressive.
Credentials pretty well.
So yeah, Clarky could be a hockey nerd with all his stats. He might know everything. So that's definitely gonna help out your chirping arsenal when you got everything on it. The next one is, what's your favorite memory or moment from Barrie last season?
There's a couple. There's actually a funny story that Cards you weren't there for. I'll actually say it now, but Rask, you were there for it, but Cards wasn't there. Because it was right at the start of the season. So, Rask, do you remember when that cop guy came into the restaurant and talked to the whole team? Not in a bad way, but he came to talk to the whole team about how to act in public and whatnot. Not because we did anything bad, just I don't know, just that's what they were talking about.
Normal. Don't worry, no one's gonna start thinking that you guys did something bad.
Okay, I'm just clarifying. I just didn't want anyone to think that. Anyways, so do you remember how at the end they made they said okay, we want to show how the taser works. Remember that? Yeah. Okay. So everyone was telling me all day, the first round pick, I hope our first round pick next year is not listening to this because apparently they do it every year, and I guess I'm spoiling it right now. But everyone was saying you're gonna get tasered later today. I'm you're really funny. This is a good joke. And they're no, you're gonna get tasered. And so it happened, and he's like, who wants to see how the taser works? And then he's like, who's the first round pick? And I was I put my hand up, I thought everyone was joking, and then the cop says, "Who's the first round pick?" And I put my hand up, and then I kind of walked up there. I'm please, I really don't want to do this. I was literally shaking. My body was literally I was literally aching. My body, I've never felt that way in my life. There was literally tears in my eyes. I thought I was about to die. Guys were holding me down. I thought I was about to get tasered, and then I had to look away. Cammy and Tux were grabbing my arms so I couldn't run away. And then the next thing I know, I'm just standing there bracing to get tasered by a 50,000 volt taser. And then I think it was Wilms just came and threw ice cream in my face. That was the biggest sigh of relief I've ever had. I was so scared. There were literally tears in my eyes. I have never been so traumatized. I still think about that day sometimes. It was so crazy.
Oh, that's unreal, man. Holy, that is too funny. I wish I was there for that. Should have came to Barry a bit earlier, and I would have seen an absolute meltdown.
Yeah, it was
by
oh
Clarkie.
my god.
That was good. That's too
Oh my
good.
god.
That's a good story, man, and that's top 5 maybe stories I've ever heard on this pod. Anyway, but
Yeah, that's up there.
that's a good one, man. And so we'll try to get serious here again for the last question or two. And so people ask, what curve and flex do you use?
I use the P28. I used to use P92 last season, but this summer I changed to the P28, the toe curve, and I use a 77 flex Nexus Geo. So that's what I'm using right now.
Okay. And then our last fan question, kind of before we wrap this pod up, is who's your favorite OA in Barrie? You don't want to mess this one up because it was a specific person who asked.
I'm gonna go with Brownie because he made me laugh all the time. But so did guys like Cammy. Like I would have like long conversations with Cammy. Like that guy was like underrated funny. That like he was kind of quiet at times, but then you got into conversation with him and he's like really funny. And then Nelly, Josh Nelson was also my locker room stallmate, so I got to give him a little shout out too. We would have in between period like conversations all the time. So yeah, we had really good OAs. I was really lucky.
Yeah, and I can attest to that. All 3 great guys, but yeah, no, you made the right choice in picking Brownie. It
was Brownie's question.
Yeah, I knew it was Brownie's. I knew it was Brownie's question, obviously.
Hey,
100%. I got one question from inside the house today, and for the YouTube listeners, you might be able to see, but Jack Thompson asked if you could do the Colt face for him.
The Colt face.
Yeah.
Oh, like the face of our logo?
No, the one we got, like that one, you know? Yeah, that one. There it is.
One. The Muppy.
The Muppy, yeah, the Muppy. Same thing. That's good.
There we go. YouTube listeners, check that out. I actually want to say 2 things, but going back to the OAs, just a pretty random one. But on my first day of training camp there, like when I first got in, Cammy was the first guy there, like first guy I met on the team. Like from there, I'd met some guys before in the summer and stuff, but I thought he was a coach. Like no one told me he was a player, and he was walking around.
I thought he was too, actually.
Yeah, he was walking around in his cutoff and like short shorts, and he's obviously massive, like tall and ripped. And I don't know. I thought he was a coach. I was like, oh my god, this guy is a large human. And then
he's intimidating. He's so intimidating.
I did not believe he was a player. He's younger than me. He's a year younger than me.
Yeah, that's wild. That's wild.
Anyway, yeah. So just a big guy. I love Cammy. He was a great dude. But yeah, so that kind of wraps it up with the fan questions. But before we let you go, I just got to say, Clarky, that we're going to be sending you an Axel watch for coming on. Best watches in hockey, in all sports. And I'm rocking mine. I kind of always have mine on now. It's pretty sweet. But we'll send you one. You can take a look at the website and let me know which one you want. I'll fire it over to you. And for the listeners who want an Axel watch, you can check them out and use the promo code Showbound15 for 15% off. And you'll be rocking the best watches in the game, just like me, Cardsy, and Clarky, and we'll all be looking good together. So I encourage that. But Clarky will be firing one your way.
Thanks, boys. That's huge.
I think that does it for me and you, Rask, or I should say Rask and I, if my grammar's right. But thanks for coming on, Clarky. I know we'll be in touch, but best of luck here in Slovakia, and hopefully we'll see each other soon in Barrie.
Yeah, hopefully we can get back there soon, and yeah, hope you keep doing well in Sweden. Guy had a hattie last game. He didn't shout it out on the pod, but he had a hattie last game. Didn't want to leave that out. Thanks for having me. Good, Rask. It's been a while, but good to talk to you. And thanks for having me, boys.
All right, cheers, buddy.
See you, Clarky. All right, and thanks, Clarky, for that. That was a really good interview and a bunch of laughs. And hearing him tell that taser story, I forgot about that one. It was really funny and really good catching up with him. What do you think of that?
Yeah, that was a sick interview. I don't know about his audio, a little sketchy over there in Slovakia, but no, we got the job done. And I wish I was there for that taser story, man. That sounded hilarious. But all fun and games until somebody's getting tased, you know. But little ice cream in the face isn't a bad compromise rather than taking a taser. But no, that was a good interview. Good catching up with him. Good to know he's doing well over in Slovakia, enjoying his time there, and definitely a guy that could really go high in this draft and has the potential to be a great NHL player one day. So everyone keep your eyes out for Clarky down the road.
Yeah, exactly. He's buzzing over there in Slovakia early too. So let's talk about the Bachelor segment. I know you just watched it, you just caught up, and what are your thoughts on the episode? And then we can get into it a bit, break it down a little more.
Oh, I thought it was pretty dumb. Like, I have not liked this season so far. But there's like a lot of drama, obviously, surrounding Sarah. Is her name, right?
Yep.
Um, as much as family comes first and everything, and I feel for her with her father and everything, you just can't make such a big scene like that. And then all the girls kind of feeding into it, and Matt James feeding into it as well. It just made for like a Gong Show episode, which kind of ruined the whole episode. I didn't even really see any positives in it to talk about, really. Like, the one-on-one was good and all, but they didn't get much airtime because everyone's focused on what's going on in the house. But really not much positive about that episode. But I'm going to make a prediction right now. You can mark this down. I say she comes back later on.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I was at first, when they dropped those teaser clips when that girl came out of the limo, I originally thought it was her until they showed the girl's face and it wasn't. But that got me thinking that that's a very high possibility. I don't know if it's going to happen, but it's definitely a good prediction. I could see it happening. I think the issue with Sarah was like all of that could have been avoided, in my opinion, if she just goes out and faces it and addresses it with the group instead of hiding in her room all day, letting all the tempers get higher and higher because she's not like, she's just avoiding it. I think it would have been a lot better if she just like, look, this happened, like whatever, it's my fault. I'm going to be part of the group again. I don't know. That was kind of a mistake.
Yeah, no doubt. She kind of just hid in her room and made it about herself rather than what the show is supposed to be. But hey, it's not The Bachelor without a little bit of drama. So we'll take it and move on to next episode and see if we can get something better going next week.
Yeah, and actually, so just to quickly touch on that one-on-one, like you talked about, that girl, Serena P, apparently she went to my high school. That's what all my friends were telling me. So I think she's my early favorite to win now, just for that. And she seems like a pretty respectable girl. I don't know her or anything. I think she's older than me, but that was pretty cool, little hometown connection. And other than that, Victoria, who we seem to talk about every episode, was, I mean, she was still very annoying, but like the episode wasn't all about her for once. So that's kind of nice. It's a little refreshing to move on a bit, but she's just horrible. Like just a horrible person. I don't know what to say about her.
Yeah, man, at least she toned it down a notch, but I might have to hop on the Serena, right? Serena bandwagon, and little hometown pride for you. So maybe I'll hop on that bandwagon. I'll hopefully ride it to the finale.
Yeah, maybe we get her on the pod to do the segment for us later on. Yeah, I mean, that's about all I have for this whole episode. Actually, you got anything else to add to your cards before we wrap it up?
No, I think that pretty much does it. And as I say every week, we really appreciate all the support you guys are giving us. And we continue to hope to pump out some great epis coming in the future. So from me, that pretty much does it.
Yeah, well said, Cardsy, and we'll see you guys next week.